Hey everyone, we are back for another week of exciting rehearsals. This week we are traveling to Costa Rica. We'll also find out what made Austin say,
And I'm like, I didn't pack pants. I barely have a collared shirt. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm like, I had no idea this is happening.
and why Woody said,
Everyone can't throw a football. I mean, I love football, but I wouldn't trade that for my arts. No.
all this and more. So get out on the field and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go.
Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Trish José. So we are going international this week with talking about some marching arts in Costa Rica. One of our hosts is just back, and we have a guest clinician who was also there. So let's see who's on the sidelines this week. Woody! How's everything in percussion land, Woody?
Everything in percussion land is going great.
All right.
Marching band, they came out last week. They didn't hurt themselves. They did pretty well. I'm very excited.
Okay. Excellent. So, Austin.
Hello.
Hi. You're the one who went to Costa Rica. Don't tell us everything right now, but how was it?
Oh my God, it was fantastic. The people down there were so nice. They were so kind. Everyone was so welcoming. And honestly, the band was pretty good. So you know what? I gotta tell you that a little bit more later.
We can't wait to hear all about it.
It's a fun little story I got for you guys later.
Okay, let's bring in our guest clinician who was also there in Costa Rica, all the way from the Isle of Puerto Rico. It's Carlos Alicea.
Hey, hello.
Okay, Carlos, just like every other guest clinician, we are going to start with your 32 count life story. So we'll give you 8 off the Met, and then you're going to tell us all about yourself in 32 counts. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Just let me know. 5, 6, 7, and okay. My name is Carlos. I'm a music teacher in Puerto Rico. I have been involved in DCI teaching as a staff and a member since 2018. I'm doing marching band here in Puerto Rico as instructor, a drum major, a colorguard instructor, and colorguard choreographer here in Puerto Rico. Also, I am the founder and the director of Imperium Winter Guard. It's the first indoor and program here in Puerto Rico.
Awesome.
Yay, I did it.
So, Carlos, tell us about your DCI background. Where did you march?
I marched in 2018 and 19 in Music City, Jordan before.
Okay.
And then I started teaching in Southwind and Madison Scout in 2021 to 2024.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So you learned everything that you know about color guard how did you even want to do DCI? Like, how did you even find out about it? Were you involved in color guard in Puerto Rico?
So my story about how I learned color guard is very inspirational because I started doing color guard here in Puerto Rico with a broom, spinning a broom outside my yard, watching videos from Spintronics, watching videos from YouTube, learning tricks, learning choreos and stuff. And then I met people here in Puerto Rico from Banda Municipal de Guayanilla, and they gave me the opportunity to meet Todd McCossie and Jeremy Williams in Westchester University for color guard camps. And I started learning like professional technique in that camp in Westchester University. And after that, I got the jump to be starting DCI by myself because I never been in a color guard in a band before. My whole life, I was a musician. I started playing the violin in 5th grade. So I was growing with the music my whole life. And I got started this passion for color guard when I was in middle school. And I started learning with a broom. And
that's amazing.
10 years later, I was doing DCI. I have my winter guard program here in Puerto Rico, and I get WGI.
That's incredible. Wow, what a story.
Yeah, I got a lot of fans from Latin America because they never got the opportunity to be on WGI or DCI, and having
Uh-huh.
that person who speaks Spanish and who can spot me on social media, see videos from him. I mean, it's a very good thing for me to spread in social media for Latin people who follow all that passion.
Absolutely. Okay, everybody, it's time for the news. Okay, I'm going to start it off, unfortunately, on a sad note. For those of you who have ever been in the presence of Carl Rocco, it's sadly, he passed away this week at his home in Florida. He was very involved in drum corps, mainly in the Northeast. This is a little tidbit I didn't know, that he began his involvement in drum corps with the Dumont Police Cadets. I'm actually from Dumont. My mom lives in Dumont still, in the same house I grew up in. Once I moved from New York City to Dumont, that's how I got involved in drum corps. So, and my instructors were all from the Dumont Police Cadets. So that was a little tidbit I didn't know. He started there in 1960 playing the tenor drum. He enjoyed a long and influential career in this activity. His resume includes service to Star of Indiana, Crossman, where he was actually the director for a few years, the Jersey Surf, Spirit of Atlanta, and Santa Clara Vanguard. He'd been a longtime member of the Skyliners Drum and Bugle Corps. He judged DCI, World Championships 3 times, DCA. He has been inducted to the World Drum Corps Hall of Fame, the New Jersey Hall of Fame, the New York Skyliners Hall of Fame, the Crossman Hall of Fame, and the Reading Buccaneers Hall of Fame. I have two really good personal stories that I'm going to let our good friend Woody jump in. During his tenure as director of the Crossman in '92, I had a really good friend that was marching in the horn line in 1992 and 1993. And I was like fangirling all summer with the Crossman that summer. And I remember being at Allentown at DCI East, and it was back when they used to have the little scoreboard on the front sideline with all the scores. And when Crossman performed, when their score went up, they were in first place. But obviously, the top 3 or whatever hadn't gone on yet. So I went down to take a picture, and he happened to be standing there. And I said, well, I want to take the picture while you were in first place. And he was like, you better take it quick. So that was a funny story. But we actually reconnected in 2020 during COVID when I was asked to be the color guard instructor for the Skyliner alumni. And this is another funny story. He obviously, we only had one in-person rehearsal that I was at, but then we started doing stuff. I was making videos and, sending them to the group and whatever. But so I was making these videos in my park, and maybe I was just a little overzealous and missing color guard so much that maybe I was going a little bit too overboard. So Carl Rocco calls me one day and he says to me, hey, Trish. And I said, yeah, hi, Carl. And he said, so the women feel like you're making the work like you're writing DCI work. And I'm like, okay. He's like, listen, he's like, you got to tone it down a little bit. And the initial reaction I had was, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not doing this. Yeah, I don't need this right now. But it was just like, how could you say no to Carl Rocco? He was just such an amazing person, so down to earth. Always, anytime I walked into a Sky alumni rehearsal and he was there, I had the biggest smile on my face. He always just made you feel good about yourself. And I'm sure, Woody, you have some stories as well.
Well, it's funny because Carl Rocco was my drum instructor at the Black Watch, and that's where I first met him. And at that time, I was sort of, I'm like 16, 17. It was very intimidating then.
Mm-hmm.
He had a very, very powerful personality, and he didn't scream at you, but the way he spoke to you was just so stately. Like
Right.
there was no way to argue. You're just like, I'm sorry, sir. And you put your head down and you walk away.
Exactly.
But as I got older, our lives crossed paths again at the Jersey Surf, and that's where I got the most information out of him with show programming and things with writing. You know, he really helped me learn how to focus that stuff. So it was, you know, I wish there were more people like him that would take younger people underneath their wing and show them the little stuff. You know, he was a great guy.
He really was. We definitely lost a good one. So I know the family is planning some. I'm sure a lot of the drum corps he was involved in will be planning things and going on, and so keep posted on that. But yeah, we definitely lost a good one. Austin, what do you have for us?
Oh, I got a decent one here. So there's a band in the Houston ISD who applied to go to the Sugar Bowl this year. They got accepted. And then the superintendent was like, nah, you can't do it. Sorry. So Waltrip High School Waltrip High School out of Houston ISD. They were supposed to go to the Sugar Bowl, but the story does have a happy ending. Not only did they say no, the mayor of Houston stepped in. The police department stepped in. They said, "All right, we can do this." So what the mayor pretty much called the PD up and was like, "Hey, can you give them a police escort over there? We're getting them to the Sugar Bowl. I don't care what it takes. It's going to happen."
Wow.
So in true superintendent fashion, the superintendent goes, "Okay, yeah, we can do that instead." So now they're going to go. Now they're going to the Sugar Bowl this year.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
They're getting the whole police escort, I think, all the way from Houston. They're going all the way out. It's a whole thing. And then let's see what else. They raised all the money. They did everything they needed to do, but then the superintendent shut it down. And then now the mayor was like, "No, they're going."
Wow.
So yeah, that was a good thing. The local government kind of got involved, and they were like, "Here we go. It's happening."
Huh. Well, that's great. Good for those kids.
Yeah. They deserve to go to the Sugar Bowl.
Woody, what do you have for us?
Oh, Trish. Oh, Austin. This is a doozy. Marching band goes to the WWE. Oh, yes. The University of Arkansas, they are going to play October 5th at the Bad Blood event in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's incredible.
Oh, man. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? Woo! And earlier this season, and it went viral, the University of Arkansas played for the undisputed champ, Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Yes. At the War Memorial Stadium. My bad. Woo. And it doesn't end there. They've done things like Showtime at the Apollo and things like that, but they are no stranger to the the spotlight. This is their thing, and they're very excited because it's going to be broadcast on Peacock. Believe that. 5 p.m. Central Time. Yes, marching band at the WWE.
I love it.
I hope no one gets drafted.
I love it. Austin, you got another one for us?
I do, and I hate ending on a sad note, but we kind of have to. So, there's a rural band in Texas, a tiny town, Valley View High School band. They unfortunately had a pretty bad tornado back in May.
Oh gosh.
And they ended up losing one of their it was like an EF3 tornado. They ended up losing one of their marching band members.
Oh.
I know. girl's name was Miranda Esperanza, and she was described as, quote, the life of the sousaphone section.
Aww.
So they took a pretty big hit from a tornado. She ended up passing away. And the band director was like, hey, like, we're going to honor her memory, but I want the band to be a completely safe space for the rest of the students as they grieve and as they mourn. So she's kept everything in her office, like deodorant, face wipes, other toiletries and feminine needs as well. And they started a GoFundMe to make a trip. They started a GoFundMe for a trip. She didn't want to place a financial because, like, all these parents, they lost a lot of stuff in this town, and they looks like they're trying to go down to Houston to attend, or no, they did that already. And they want to check out, they want to see how much money they can raise through a GoFundMe, and it has a lot of money. It has a lot of money.
Well, these GoFundMe's, man. If you can hit it, man. Maybe we should have a GoFundMe on a water break, huh? Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we should drop the link to this GoFundMe in the show notes for sure.
We'll have one for the Puerto Rico group, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
No?
So one more news item that you guys could be on the lookout for is that an interview that will be coming our way that Stephen and Joey did with Marching Vlogs. So look for that coming soon. That sounds like it's a real good one. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, don't miss that. Okay, it's time to work on those changes for the opener again. And we'll be right back as we dive deeper in.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
And we are back. So, Austin, you and Carlos just got back from Costa Rica. Tell us all about it.
Yes, we did. It was a phenomenal weekend. We're recording this episode late September. We went in the beginning of September. If I'm not mistaken, it was the weekend of hang on, I'm pulling my calendar up. Let's see. I think it was the weekend of the 7th, 8th.
Okay.
It was such a great time. Carlos and I both have a mutual friend. His name is Daniel Espinoza.
Okay.
Daniel Espinoza was one of my students at the Troopers in 2021. Carlos, how do you know Daniel?
It was so great to meet Daniel. I was teaching in Madison Scout 2021. I was in the colorguard. And then I know because I have one of my students for Winter Guard from Puerto Rico. He was marching Madison Scout. And then I saw them in Instagram that they're going to be in the virtual season for DCI. And I was like, oh, I need to meet that guy from Costa Rica because I have them in my social media. Let's take a picture with the Costa Rica flag and Puerto Rican flag in front of the stadium. And then I meet him with the other people from Costa Rica who was marching in Troopers. And we made friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the best part about drum corps, especially in the season of 2021. Like all the camaraderie that comes through it now, like it didn't used to be like that when you were marching, Trish. It was
Right.
everyone like up to themselves, right?
Right.
Now with like social media and everything, everyone's kind of friends with each other, and honestly, I think it's a little bit better that way. That's just me, but
2021 was a special season for sure. I mean, I went to Allentown, and it was just so great to be back doing the activity and seeing people again. I mean, some of us hadn't seen anybody other than like family and neighbors at that point. And, here we are back at it. And it was just non-competitive, and it was a whole bunch of fun to watch.
yeah, so going down to Costa Rica, I wasn't sure what was going to be going on down there. I thought it was going to be because the way Daniel approached me with everything was, you're doing auditions for a festival. So in my head, my American brain turns on, here's auditions. I think something like drum corps auditions. So I'm going to go sit in front of a band and do individual auditions over the course of a weekend. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. What do you want me to do? And then he's like, judge these auditions, and I go, okay, sure. I get down there, and I find out that not only are we judging like a national competition, we are judging 21 separate marching bands from the entire country of Costa Rica. And I go, wait, whoa, what's going on here? And I'm like, how did I end up here? And then next thing we know, the entire government of the city government of San Jose paid for all of our trips down there.
Wow.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So instead of auditioning individuals, you were auditioning groups to be in this festival.
Correct.
Oh,
Correct.
wow.
Think of it as like a preliminary finals type thing, but
Okay.
prelims are in September and finals are in December.
Wow.
So it was our job to choose. So there were 13 bands that got accepted into the festival. Festival de la Luz is the festival of light in Costa Rica. It's a big thing right before Christmas. Carlos, I'm sure you know a little bit more about it.
Oh yeah.
Lay it on me.
Yeah, when Daniel came to me as Austin, give me the
Yeah.
invitation to go to Costa Rica, I was like, okay, this is going to be my first time, like, hearing the music from Costa Rica, judging the music and the color guard. But when I get there, I was thinking about the same Austin, because they told me, like, you're going to be evaluating auditions, you're going to be a judge for auditions. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be evaluating the color guard in Costa Rica. And when I get there, I saw a good and very, very good progress in the color guard in Costa Rica, because Costa Rica was made the WGI in 2017 and 18. And for the first time, they made a WGI in Latin America. So I was expecting to see very good progress in Costa Rica for now in 2024. I was planning to go to Costa Rica in 2019 with my winter guard, but COVID-19 season came here in the entire world, so I canceled my entire trip. So always in my top list, I was like, I want to go to Costa Rica for marching band events, or be a judge for color guard, or just bring color guard clinics. But when I get there to be a judge for the color guard, oh my God, there was a lot and a good progress in the color guard. I was like very impressed. And when I saw them, like, they have to do like a parade before the audition. So you have to make a judge for the parade inside the stadium. You have to evaluate them, record your voice comments so they can hear you. For my experience, they're going to have my comments and my judging strictics for my voice recording in Spanish. So that's a good thing for them. So they don't have to translate them, because I know the technique.
I was just about to ask if you did it in Spanish. I was just about to ask.
They think about me, because they told me, hey, Carlos, we were thinking about to bring someone from outside Costa Rica to judge the color guard. But thinking about you, you are the only one in Latin America who has speak Spanish very fluent. You know about the color guard. you march in DCI and you did WGI. So you are the perfect person to be a judge in Costa Rica for this huge event. And you know what? This event in Costa Rica, Festival de la Luz, they're looking that in Latin America like the Rose Parade.
Okay.
Because for them in Latin America to go through the Rose Parade is a huge process to have the visa and to have the staff to be international and travel outside from the Latin America to go to the Rose Parade.
Right.
But this event in Costa Rica is a huge step for them because it's in Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
They just can take a bus and drive so many hours and be there, and they don't have to have a visa to go to Costa Rica. You know what I'm saying? So I was very happy to be there with Austin, with other people, and being the judge. Also, the governor and the municipal, they help us with the trip, like Austin says, and they are very good, very humble. That was a good experience.
Yeah, so the marching bands themselves down there, we had no, like going in, I hadn't seen it. I've seen like one video from something in February, and I think it had maybe 8 pixels total, so I didn't even know what I was looking at
Oh gosh.
at the time. So I saw one video, I'm like, all right, this is cool. It was like a parade from a couple years ago for one of the bands, and it was back in February. I don't really know. So I'm going into this thing completely blind. I don't know what the Costa Rican definition of like good or bad is. And there were a couple other people there too from America, and it was Tim Snyder, Mary Duracop, both from the Troopers. They were there as well. So we were having a conversation that night before. We're like, what do we expect? Like, what's good? What's going to be good? What's going to be bad? Where do we start? How do we scale this? Like, what numbers do we put down? What's going on? So we show up in the morning, and it was Saturday morning. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. We roll up to, I'm not even kidding you. Yeah, no, it was too early for me. But they're in Mountain Time, so it was really like 10 o'clock Eastern. Kind of worked out. But so we roll up to the Costa Rican National Football Stadium, like their national soccer stadium. It was a whole thing, and we're like, "Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa! How do we get here?" And we walk in, and I'm like, "How did I get here?
Right.
What just happened?" Like, because I went from not having a plane ticket a week ago to I'm about to judge like pretty much every single marching band in the country of Costa Rica. I'm like, "How did I get here?" And that was like my motto for the entire weekend. It was a whole thing. And so we get there, and how the process worked, Carlos kind of talked about it a little bit. But what happened, they gave us the rundown. They're like, hey, here's what's going to happen. You're judging not one, but 2 things. These shows are going to take probably about 20 minutes total each.
Oh wow.
And they split it up over the course of 2 days. So we did 11 bands on Saturday, 10 bands on Sunday. We had to choose 13 to go to the festival in December. So we were writing numbers down. So the first thing that they do is they start on the left side of the stadium. So if, like, think about Lucas Oil. Like, everyone who's listening, put the picture of Lucas Oil in your head. You're sitting in 240, 440, wherever you are. They're coming in the front left entrance, just like Coors would, like the pits would, and they're going out, and they're pretty much going out the front right entrance, kind of the way the Coors exit as well. It's the exact same thing, but what they're doing is it's on a track. Like we're not on the grass. There's like a lot of space between the soccer field and the stands, and there's a track, and then there's a little bit more green concrete there as well. So they lined like the green concrete and the track to kind of look like a football field in a way.
Okay.
And it was smaller than a football field. It was probably bigger than a WGI floor. I want to say it's probably about the size of the Sound Sport floor, maybe a little bit bigger. But the first thing they do is they do a parade. Wow. And because the Festival de la Luz, the most important part of that whole thing, the whole culture behind it is the parades.
Okay.
Parades are a massive thing in Latin American culture. Like all across Latin America, it's a huge thing. And so we're auditioning these bands. So we have to look at the parade, and then what they'll do is they'll finish their parade, they'll turn around, they'll walk back, and they'll set up for their field show.
Wow.
And then they do their field show, and then they're done. It probably took about 20 minutes total for everything for each band. It was a really, really cool experience. And some of these bands were like, holy cow, some of these bands are really good.
Wow.
Like some of them were like, whoa, this is like, what's going on? I mean, and some of them, like you could tell that they were newer. You could tell that they like didn't quite, they had an understanding, but they just needed to keep refining it and keep going with it. And but there wasn't a band that I sat there and I was just like, oh my God. There was not a band that I sat there and it was like, this is like unsalvageable. There's no way.
Right.
I was thoroughly impressed from top to bottom. And the range. Yeah, what were you saying?
Did you see like a little DCI, influence in these groups, or they're kind of doing their own thing, or?
Yes. Carlos, there was a really wide variety of shows.
Oh yes,
So
it was a lot. From my perspective, I would say this is the first time for them to have a very organized event in Costa Rica. Like they were following the schedule like very, very sharp, and there was like warming up and waiting. Like DCI, it's like they're doing this like DCI in Costa Rica, but for them, like following the schedule on sharp, it was like, hey, we need to move or we're gonna lose points because the rubrics they have points. If you're going late, they're going to discount points of that. So
Yep.
they are following the schedule very sharp.
Wow.
Also, that was very good for them in Costa Rica. The second thing, what I was very impressed, it was the parade. They used the music and the culture from Costa Rica and the
that's
music from Costa Rica using in that parade, like to let us know, like this is our music, this is our style, this is our culture in Costa Rica. That was a very good thing for them to show us, like a Josh. And I was very happy to see that enjoyment in the parade because you can see the dress, like huge dresses for the dance, like
Oh my goodness.
walking. That was very colorful. I mean, that was a great experience for me. And they have very huge bands in Costa Rica, like huge. They
Yeah.
was traveling. I know one band was traveling like 12 hours just to be there Saturday for the event.
Wow.
And there was like the number 5 on the list. And they was traveling from 12 p.m. 12 a.m. and they get there like 7:30 to warm up like 20 minutes or 30 minutes outside the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They
left the night before.
Yeah, that was one of the bands who qualified for the December for the parade.
I forget who it was. Who was it?
Yeah, the white was the Acosta, Banda Municipal de
Acosta?
Acosta.
That's who it was?
That was the white with the purple and yellow.
Yes, yeah, they were really good. I remember them being really
good. The Beethoven show, Beethoven or Mozart. I can't remember that was.
So
but
was that,
yeah.
So was that one of the shows that really stood out to you, or was there
Absolutely.
another one that you were really?
Oh yeah.
Is there another one that you were really passionate about too?
Yeah, they're using UDB in Costa Rica for the first time as well.
Really?
Yes. And they're using all this technology to project and using design shows over there. So I was very impressive. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And the thing about the shows down there, it was such a wide variety of like the show itself. Like some of them were very core, like there were a couple that were very, very core style and had a storyline, and they were like, it was very like Americanized in a way.
Oh yeah, they're using the Latin style and the American style together.
Exactly.
So they can use like the basic thing for American style for the show, but they have the flavor, Latin flavor a little bit. Always we have this little bit on the shows. But I saw these special bands like Banda Municipal San Jose, Banda La Fortuna, La Banda Municipal de Acosta, and Don Bosco. There are 4 or 5 bands.
Yeah.
Wow, they are very huge. And they make a very good program in Costa Rica in that show. Wow, that was on fire.
Absolutely, yeah. And some of them were, I mean, they were awesome. Like, but there were some other shows that were very, very show style and very like stand and play. But the one constant from every single band is that they were freaking loud.
Really?
Also,
They were
yeah,
so it was crazy.
I was very impressed because not only for the performance, but I mean, directors, they have women like on directors, like directing a whole band. Wow, that woman, I take off my head. I'm very proud of that girl's like directing a whole band.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I forget to say for this event, they only have to choose 11 bands because 2 bands they're gonna have the spot already for December. For example, the band who won the last year in the festival, and the band who was the homecoming band from the San Jose. That band is going to be like always the band inside the festival. So just imagine judging 21 marching bands just to choose 11. Wow.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah, that's
it was
incredible.
really, really
It
tough.
was very tough. It was.
We
That
just
was
started
like
writing down numbers. Like, we were all blind. Like, for me, it was very blind. We were like, all right, let's just start writing down numbers and see what happens. We specifically, the American judges, there were three of us. We specifically requested that we kept our sheets for the first 3 or 4 performances for the first day, because we didn't have a frame of reference.
Right.
And Carlos, I'm sure you did the exact same thing, right?
Oh yes, I did in the color
because
guard.
we didn't have a frame of reference. We had no clue.
No, we had no clue.
So I'm
I
like,
was
what's good, what's bad? San Jose went first. They went
Oh my God.
twice over the course of the week. They went twice over the course of the weekend. They went twice because they were hosting the whole event, and they were very core style. They were awesome. Daniel, the guy I was talking about a little bit earlier, Carlos is and I mutual friend. He actually helps with that band.
Okay.
But he also works for the government of the city of San Jose.
Wow.
And he's in the cultural, he's like, I guess the best way to put it is he's in like the cultural affairs program.
Wow.
So he
the cultural office.
He works for the they have a minister of culture or something, and he works for the office of the minister of culture. And so he does that, and that's his day job, and then on the side he'll teach the band, and then so he was the one putting this whole thing together as a whole thing. And we did get to change our numbers. We kept our the one thing for me when I was judging, I was like, I'm going to try to be as constant with my numbers as I possibly can.
Oh yeah.
I wrote little notes for the first 3 or 4. I'm like, all right, this is what I want. 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 And then I kind of saw them, and I would adjust here and there, but I wouldn't write down my final number until like the first 4 or 5 bands went through.
Right.
I'm like, that's the final number. That's the final number. And then I'd hand them off. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. About that, I don't know if you remember that outing when Daniel and Eric told us about the score sheet. It's going to be the first time for them to have like a very professional score sheet for the first time in an event in Costa Rica for marching band. And they was like, oh wow, so how is gonna be, I mean, how is gonna work the score sheet for them? I mean, how is the minimum points, and how what is the most highest point in the score sheet? And they told us like 65 is gonna be like maybe
that was
like
our
a
floor.
to start like 65.
We set a floor. We're like, there's a floor here. We don't know what a good number is versus a bad number. So we set a pretty even floor, and then we're like, all right, let's just range it from here to here and see how we feel about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that was sort of lacking within a lot of the bands. I mean, I'm a visual guy. I was judging visual down there. A lot of it was there was a lot of lack of visual training down there.
Okay.
And so a lot of my comments were like, hey, let's start to incorporate dance classes, like with everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest thing. Like with the horn line, the second that you teach them how to move, and that was I made this comment on almost every single tape, if not every single tape. Get them into dance class, get them to understand how to move their body so that you can push them to do more.
Right.
That was my biggest thing. The more that we get them to understand their body, and the more we focus on visual training, the better off you're going to be. These bands, they don't rehearse that much.
No,
from my
only
understanding,
Sundays.
they only rehearse on the weekends, Sundays.
Oh wow!
That's it. It's like a 1-day Sunday. That's it. That's all they do.
Like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was following the thing what Austin said about visual. It happened to me in the color guard. For example, I have color guards in drills, like they was only on the sides or in the back or in the front, but they wasn't like having like this match or like being inside the band or being more flexible or flawless
Yeah.
inside the band. So I was giving them like that tips or comments like, hey, maybe in December you can work on these drills and you can have some ideas, some tricks inside the choreo because they was like repeating the choreo like sequence inside the music show.
Okay.
And I was telling like, hey, maybe you can do some floor sequence, movement of the body, or using tricks or soloists in this part. Like, give them tips and comments so they can apply that for the next time we can see them, so we can see more progress for that comments. And especially my Spanish comments inside in the show, like the voice recording, so they can understand about the hand placement, the technique, the all the toss technique inside the toaster. Also, I judge some colleagues they don't have the training inside the band. I mean how to take a flag. So I give them like, hey, I make a book from Spintronics. I translate the whole thing in Spanish so you can buy them in this side. If you have any question, just contact me and I can send you all the info you need to grow up like a color guard inside the band. So all of these kind of things to help them grow because they don't have the resources. Some of the band they don't have the resources. They don't have the economy situation. Like the band, what I told you, they traveled the whole night just to be there. And I think they told me in the town where they live, people get united together to give them the uniforms, like to make the uniforms and stuff.
Wow.
It's very community focused down there. That's the way they
Wow.
do it.
Yeah.
Like you'll see the names of the band. It's Banda Comunal de insert city name here. They're community bands. Most of them are. They're not like some of them are affiliated with high schools and like high school, their version of high school down there and everything.
Okay.
But most of them are community type bands.
Yeah, municipal from 8 years to 50 years.
Oh wow.
Uh-huh.
Well, you'll have to try to get us. You'll try to have to get us those group names so that we'll.
Oh, we can get those pretty. I can get those.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
easy.
I have some of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've got them all in the recording.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you think you made the right decision in the end? Did you pick the right groups?
Yes, we do. However, there was a bit of a score mishap in the very end that we did not.
Oh yes, I remember that. Oh my!
Yes, this did happen. So it wasn't our fault. We think it was a bad spreadsheet because what happened was, So what happened was we went down on the field and like I don't know why. It was on Sunday. They brought us down on the field. They're like, "Here are the judges," and we're like, "Wait, what?" and this whole crowd of like 7,000 people stands up. They're like, "Thank you so much for coming out." And it's a whole thing, and we're like, "What is going on?" And we're like, usually in America, the judge is gonna like run out of there and fears they're gonna get like rotten eggs thrown at them or something, you know?
Right.
Down there, they're like, "Thank you so much. This was incredible. Thank you so much for making thank you so much for coming and everything." It was a whole thing. But the right decisions were made except for a spreadsheet. So they announced all the names and we're like, and then we kind of started thinking about it. We're like, where was La Fortuna?
Yeah, what is the band?
And we were all looking at each other like I had them up. They were higher. They were definitely up there. I'm not going to say they were like in first, but they were definitely not that low. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
I think we came to a consensus because we didn't know our numbers. Like we didn't talk about our numbers or anything. We just kind of were thinking
we're like passing this score sheet to the sides.
Mm-hmm. And then so we're like, we had them up. I had them up. Did you have them up? Yeah, I had them up. Where were they? I didn't hear them. I'm surprised they're not there. And then they came over and they told us, they're like, hey, so the spreadsheet messed up and they got a negative 36. They got a negative 36. And we're like, wait, what? That's not right.
Yeah, I was like, I was using the color guard.
What happened?
I was using the color
guard. I don't know. I still
do
not know to this day what happened.
Oh gosh.
We think it was just my literal best guess is it was a bug in the spreadsheet. So what they did is they came back at night, like we were in our hotel, we were just hanging out, and they're like, hey, can you come down, just have like a final meeting, like just sign all these score sheets, like make sure the handwriting looks good on these, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. And they're like, so we ended up putting La Fortuna in. There's going to be 14 bands in the festival now.
Oh, yeah, for the first time.
Well, because they announced all 13. They announced all 11 that we picked. The 2 that were in were obviously in. So they announced them. And then we're like, where's La Fortuna? And then they're like, all right, we contacted La Fortuna. They're going to be in. We made an exception. It's going to be 14 because of the score mishap. We're not kicking out whoever was supposed to be there because we already announced it. So they're putting 14 in. Yeah. And we're supposed to go back there in December.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Like December 13.
I'm so excited.
That's amazing.
But here's the craziest part of this entire thing. So Saturday night, they're like, hey, you have dinner with the mayor of San Jose, Costa Rica. And we go, wait, what?
Oh, yes.
We go, wait, what? Like, time out. What's going on here?
And I get fancy, and I get all that white shirt.
And I'm like, I didn't pack pants. I barely have a collared shirt. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm like, I had no idea this is happening. I'm like, I've got like a polo shirt and t-shirt. That's all I got. That's all I'm working with here.
Oh my gosh.
And I understand Austin because I still remember Daniel contacted me like 2 days before the event, like, hey, I got your flight ticket. And I was like, is real happening? Is this happening right now? Like, is this real? Like, I'm going to Costa Rica because you didn't told me about the flight ticket. I was like, yeah, I got the flight ticket and I got the hotel. I was like, oh my, I didn't pack anything. I didn't buy cloud. What am I going to do?
Well, it sounds like you guys had an amazing experience there, and thank you for sharing it with us. So we're going to take a break. We're going to use our phones for something other than UDB for a moment, and we'll take a commercial break, and we'll be back with What Are We Doing?
It's Jeremy, your producer from On a Water Break, and here are your announcements coming from the box. While you're enjoying this amazing episode, don't forget our other episodes, including the one about Peggy Twigs, the one where we go behind the scenes of the Olympics and the marching arts. We check out the first female drummers from Crossmen. We also have amazing special features, including At Step Off with Jack Goudreau, Lost in Translation with Cynthia Bernard, and Behind the Lens with Chris Marr and Russell Tanakaya. Don't forget our other bonus feature, On a Water Break With, where we explore individuals or small groups. We talk to people like Eric Carr, Forte Athletics, and comedian Tony Deo. If you know of a story, or you know of someone that would make a great story, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, field staff, take it away.
We are back, and it is time for What Are We Doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Austin, what are we doing?
Okay, we're tying this into Costa Rica. Well, I got 2 really, but I'll do the lighthearted one since I am in fact Florida man. What are we doing having a hurricane the first week of freaking marching band season in Florida?
What are we doing?
I hate it. It happens every year.
Oh, that's awful.
Freaking year. This happens every time. It never fails. But Florida, that's how we do things. We're so used to it at this point. But to my second, what are we doing? What are we doing? Not having more. I guess the best way to put it is government support for the arts in America. Let me. I didn't get to talk about this a little bit earlier, but in Costa Rica, the city government of San Jose got to. They organized the whole thing, like this whole festival. They organized the whole thing. They have I was talking about how Daniel was involved with the ministry of the Ministry of Culture and everything. And they set this whole thing up, and they got us down there. But here's one thing that was not mentioned. On Saturday, they did a Facebook live stream of the competition.
Oh, wow.
Got a measly 180,000 views.
That's great.
Here's the kicker.
Measly, huh?
A measly. No. It's gonna sound measly compared to what I'm about to say. On Sunday, they put it on national television.
Oh, there you go.
2.5 million people tuned in and watched these bands.
Oof.
Straight up.
Where was I?
There are 5.5 million people in this country. So half the country literally watched this marching festival happen.
Wow.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking over. We're taking over.
It's happening.
Yes.
So what are we doing in America by not helping fund the arts appropriately so that these kids can have the opportunities that these Costa Rican kids are having?
Exactly.
You know, it's funny that you say that.
They're setting the standard there. They really are.
I was just talking to somebody about that, how it's amazing how, district could just cut the arts. Just cut the arts.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So Woody,
I mean, yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, we are biased to the arts, but still, I mean, like everyone can't throw a football. I mean, I love football, but I wouldn't trade that for my arts. No.
So Woody, while we're on the topic, what are we doing?
Well, since Austin broke it up into two, I think I'll take that same path. First off, what are we doing in Springfield? Oh, I don't like to eat dogs and cats, and I can't get away from it. I hear it every day. What are we doing? What are we doing, people?
What are we doing?
That's my serious one. And then my other one is, I've been helping a lot of people. Finale, a music software program, is going defunct. And all of these writers have to decide where they're going to now start to do their work in. Sibelius or this new program, Dorico. I chose Dorico a while ago. But what's really crazy about it is Finale made the announcement and they hooked up something so that Dorico, they could get a massive discount with Dorico. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. About a week later, Apple makes an announcement. If you upgrade to the newest operation system, it will no longer support your Finale program that you are presently using. Period.
Right.
What are we doing? How's it?
What are we doing?
Work. So now all these people are just, they're going crazy because you're like, how am I going to handle this? And it's a new program, and the music world for composers right now is on its head.
Yeah,
that's drum corps too, drum corps and marching band. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's just
silver lining for the music writers out there, or at least for the marching band music writers. At least it happened when it did. I'm seeing a lot of the music arrangers are like, I am so glad this happened in September. It's my slower season. My music is done. I'm glad it happened in the beginning of September and late August. Yeah. If it happened in February, March, April.
Marching band across the country
would have been a lot worse.
Marching band, it would have been like our own personal pandemic. It would have been.
Mm-hmm. Straight up. That's exactly what would have happened.
No music because Finale is sick. Finale blew a coal across all of United States. It's amazing.
Okay, it is. Okay, Carlos, you ready? What are we doing?
So, what are we doing in Puerto Rico with the fine arts and the music and the winter guard programs? So, let me tell you. I'm a music educator. I have 4th graders and 5th grader kids in the program, the music program in Puerto Rico, and I want them to play instruments like woodwinds, brass, percussion. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole band. I make a concert band in school. And we don't have supports like Costa Rica. Like I was in Costa Rica, like, and I saw the government giving that importance for the band, making the television so people in the Costa Rica they saw the talent, they can share the talent in television. So this is not happening in Puerto Rico. Let me tell you. I have these kiddos in my school. They don't have money. They have like economic situation. I make letters. I make all the stuff, sales to buy instruments, and nothing happens for the politicians here. So I had to do all that for myself. For the bands, it happened all the same. For the winter guide program, we don't have support for anything, so I had to do everything for myself and for the parents and making sales out there to have or equipment, to have or materials, and to grow up like, as a team, as a
Yeah.
band. You know what I'm saying? And I feel kind of sad for that because I saw my kids every single day in my classroom, and they want to grow up and they want to learn music, how to play an instrument, how to be a professional in the future, how to inspire other people in the school to be a
Right.
music, to play music. And I just like, hey, we're going to do this and this and this, and we're not going to worry about the politicians because these people are not going to help anybody. So let's go and for
Well,
ourselves and make all this happen.
I know you're saying
That's
you
what I
feel
have.
so sad, but you should feel so proud of yourself for doing what you do,
Oh,
for sure.
thank you. Thank you.
My what are we doing is, has anybody heard that critiques are now called meet and greets?
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, how about that nonsense?
Yeah.
It was our home show this past weekend, and my band director and another staff member were standing there, and the other staff member has judged the U.S. band show the week before, and then they were like, "Well, okay, so that's going to be the food over here, and that's going to be the food for the meet and greet." I was like, "Okay, where's the critique?" They're like, "The meet and greet." I was like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Yeah, it's not called critique anymore. It's now called meet and greet."
That's
So
it. That's a U.S. band's thing.
I guess is it because critique has like a critical connotation? I'm not sure, but it's silly. It's just whatever.
What?
Is that
That's
why?
so
I mean,
odd. That's so odd.
it's
I
called a
don't
meet
know
and
why
greet
they do
now.
it, but I know
Is it?
that it's a thing.
I'm not familiar with U.S. bands. Have they always done that?
No, it's been a critique.
No.
No,
That's
no,
so
it's
Been a
weird.
critique.
relatively new because they used to do just right. It's still a critique.
It
Okay.
is.
The
It's
format
the
hasn't
exact
changed.
same format. Yes.
It's
Okay.
just the almost like like Trish said, like the politically correct way to say critique now.
Right.
So it's not so, how can I say, analytical.
Right.
So you can come in as the band director
And meet and greet.
and feel comfortable talking to the people. There is a sense of not tension, but especially with so many new instructors and stuff, they place the judges on a shelf that they seem unattainable. This is a great way to kind of knock that wall down.
Somebody just asked the question: do you pay $10 for a selfie at the meet and greet? Anyway,
Do you have to get an autograph at the meet and greet from all the judges? Is that how this works?
It's just silly. Anyway,
I don't know.
It's now
just people.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
Okay, gush and go. Austin, what are you gushing about this week?
Oh goodness. I'm always on the move, as you guys know. Where's Austin going next? This is gonna be a segment on this podcast. I swear it's gonna be a segment soon. I'm going back to Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going back. They called me and they're like, "Hey, They're like, "Hey, we have the money. Do you want to come out?" And I was like, "Yes, please. I would love that."
That's amazing. You know when?
Yeah, October 5th.
Nice.
So in like 10 days or so, I'm excited. I think in the next 2 weeks from Friday, So like, I'm gonna be home for 4 or 5 days total.
Hey Trish, guess what?
I'll be moving.
What's that? Are you
He won't
gushing
be-
and going now, Woody?
He won't be going to any meet and greets.
Nope. I'm good. I'm just teaching camps. I'm doing a consult. I'm teaching camps. That's
I
all I'm
love it.
doing. We're having a great time, and I'm gonna be eating a lot of fish and a lot of rice, and I'm gonna
I
be very
love
happy
that.
because I don't have to talk to a judge.
That's
at all.
great. No meet and greet for you.
Let me know if they
Right.
need help in the color guard.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Woody, what are you gushing and going about?
I tell you what, I didn't have a true one until I just thought about it. You know, on my way out of the rehearsal tonight, indoor drum line and color guard just really officially started. I'm like, we're not even finished the show yet, and we're already planning for indoor coming up. I'm like, oh my goodness, man, am I getting that old? Because I don't ever remember it just jumping on me. But
It's
I
the
guess
most wonderful time of the year, Woody.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I was deep in it, teaching, yeah, I was already planning for my winter drumline season. But now that I'm just the, I guess, administrator, I'm like, why are we talking about indoor already? My goodness. But it's that time.
It's true.
Got that.
It's true because we're so in it with marching band now. I totally feel you on that level. I get it. Carlos, what are you gushing and going about?
Hey, so this week I made something new steps in my whole life. I was doing in my school band when I was working as a drum major. Now I'm part of the teamwork. I'm now the instructor and design team and visual for the
Excellent.
band. So that's a huge step for me inside the program. Now I'm gonna be concentrated working on that stuff for the band so the band can grow up in those levels. Also, I'm very proud of myself because this week as well, I was doing my first time choreography for my
Yay.
winter guard program. So in the past, I never started with the choreography on this month of September. September in the past year, I was like focusing on technique and dance stuff across the floor. But for the first time in my program, I was like, let's
Yes.
start with the choreo and let's start with this and this and this. So yeah, I'm
That's
making
so
progress this
great.
season.
Well, my gush and go is so we had a football game on Friday night at Ramapo High School in New Jersey, which is a regional high school where um, kids who live in a certain town called Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, go to. Franklin Lakes is a big hotbed of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So, for those of you who are Real Housewives of New Jersey fans, as I am, Melissa and Joe Gorga's son plays for football for Ramapo. So we get off the bus. I bring the color guard off the bus. I turn around to look at the guard, and standing right there is Joe Gorga. And I said, Joe Gorga. And he said, hey, how are you? And he said, he said, who are you? And I said, I'm the color guard director for Northern Valley Old Japan. And he said, okay. I said, can I get a selfie? Right behind him came Melissa, star of Real Housewives of New Jersey. So we took a selfie. They were legitimately there just to be football parents. Joe was flipping burgers at the outside the concession stand, and she was inside selling hot dogs and pretzels and
No
M&Ms.
kidding.
I swear to God, they were there as football parents. He was
So
flipping
no
burgers.
housewives drama, just football
No,
parents.
they were there as football parents
I love that. I really
to
do.
support their kid. Yep.
It is refreshing to see people who are involved in that kind of thing, like to be normal people. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, we're all normal people,
Absolutely.
and to go back to the judges thing,
Yeah.
they're all normal people. They're just normal people.
Right.
Sure, all they do is go down and write a number. And these
Exactly.
housewives people, they just get in front of a camera and they film a TV show. That's all they do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're all just people.
We're all just people.
That's it.
Well,
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
all right. Well, people, thanks for a great rehearsal this week. Thanks to our hosts, Woody, Austin, And thank you to our guest clinician, Carlos. Carlos, where can we find you on social media if people want to reach out to you?
Oh, you can find me in Instagram like Carlos Alicea, like CarlosAlicea, Carlos Alicea. You can find me Carlos Alicea Instagram. You can find me. Also on TikTok. You can find me on TikTok. You can see my videos.
Awesome.
All stuff.
One more thing. Don't forget we have our YouTube channel now that has many of our interviews coming out as full video editions. Go and subscribe so you don't miss those. So before you close out of your podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, and share this with a friend. Follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Now go practice.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Reams. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.